You've had really quite the journey over the last 6 or 7 years. I mean, like what seems to be more and more people, you were formerly a leftist and a Democrat, but saw the light, so to speak, and moved towards the right. What was it that moved the needle for you?
Well, so some of those things that you were naming in the intro were things that for several years were kind of bubbling to the surface and starting the process of kind of pushing me away. For instance, when I made my original walkaway video that I put out in 2018, I described things like that I was a liberal because I was against racism, I was against sexism, I was against judging people, based off of their sexual orientation or things like that. But what I started to find was that within my own liberal camp, those very same qualities were happening just in the reverse of what we typically think of them as. I mean, the left was becoming increasingly hostile toward white people, toward men, toward heterosexuality, toward gender normativity, and things like that. And so I started to kind of feel like, well, these hating white people doesn't feel better than hating black people to me. Hating men doesn't feel better than hating women. So to me I was like, this is all just the same crap that I don't want to be a part of. But the kind of the ultimate thing that pushed me over the edge was the election of 2016. I voted for Hillary Clinton after being a two-time Obama voter. I then became Hillary. Well, I always loved Hillary Clinton, and was very excited to vote for her in 2016. And when the election turned out the way that it did, I was confused and shocked and outraged and scared. And a couple of different things started happening at the same time. One, I was extremely confused about how it was that the media that I had trusted my whole life was capable of getting the election so wrong. CNN, MSNBC, and the works were saying that Donald Trump had a 3% chance of winning. Hillary Clinton was going to win in a landslide. This was going to be the greatest upset in election history. And so, first of all, there was this shock that the election turned out the way that it did. But then it forced me to start asking these questions like, why would anyone vote for this man? I mean, I'd already so bought into the media narrative of Donald Trump and his supporters being racists and bigots and white supremacists and nationalists and all these different things. But again, the media said that he had so little support that I kind of just wasn't terribly concerned about it. And then when he won and so handily, I was kind of like, well, how is this happening and why? And so I went on this journey to understand, why would anyone vote for Donald Trump? And how is it that the media that I trusted, how did they get it so wrong? And the ultimate moment was in January of 2017 when I went on Facebook and I posted this like angry, scathing post about how I would never be able to understand how anyone could possibly vote for a man who was capable of mocking a reporter's disability. And that was the moment that this woman named Diane, who used to babysit me when I was a baby, staunch Christian conservative. She and I had had many battles over the years on social media about different political and social issues. But she reached out to me privately and she said, look, I'm not trying to start a fight with you. I'm just asking, have you seen this? And she sent me a link to a video entitled Debunking That Trump Mocked the Disabled Reporter. And it was a compilation video showing Donald Trump doing that same voice and that same gesture as he did at his rally in 2015 or 2016 when he was accused of mocking a reporter's disability. But the commonality in every instance of this was that he was imitating somebody who was flailing because they were
Mm.
caught in a lie or doing something shady or dishonest. So it showed very compellingly that he was not mocking that reporter's disability. He was making fun of the fact that that reporter who just happened to be disabled was flailing because he was caught in a lie.
Mm.
And that's when I started to realize that the media that I had been trusting was capable of being so deceptive and dishonest. And it sent me down this long journey of research for several months, which ultimately, by the time I came out the other side, what I found was that Donald Trump was not my problem. Donald Trump was not my enemy. It was the media that I had been
Mm.
trusting my entire life. That was my enemy.
Mm.